Howdy, y'all, and welcome to the EEARSS Podcast, produced by Terrier TV. I'm still Alligator Rob. Cindy, how are you doing?
I'm okay.
I feel weird calling myself Alligator Rob. Is that strange? I feel like I'm talking about myself in second or third person.
Well, maybe you are. Maybe, you
Is that odd? I'm not that guy.
Oh, it is
Curtis.
odd.
You're like your own radio
But
announcer.
Frank, you're a celebrity, and so that's.
People continue to tell me that. I'm not sure if I've quite ever believed it, but people continue to tell me that. So if I hear it often enough,
if you
I got a bad feeling I'm going to get addicted to the idea for some reason.
Well, but you have, you got the show, you go places.
Oh,
you
we
help
have the
people
show.
out.
We have the show, as we were just
the
talking
man,
about.
the myth, the legend.
As we were just talking
That's
about,
him.
if it wasn't for you guys, I would not be doing this because I can't think of two better people to be doing a show like this with than you guys. It's two people I look up to a lot. I think the world of both of y'all, and I can't imagine trying to do something like this without you guys. I mean, I truly mean that. You're both rock stars, so
okay.
in my opinion, you guys are both the celebrities. But it is what it is.
But I don't get to throw out the first pitch at a Cubs game, so so we got that.
We all have our things.
Yes, I understand that.
We just finished up a pretty fun conversation.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, that was a blast, wasn't it? Yeah, it's to me, I find it very intriguing when people can be hilarious and sincere and thoughtful without even having a try. You know, the guy's dropping jokes like he's not even trying. They're just there.
Oh yeah.
And it's because it's just how he rolls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty special stuff. But anyhow, you guys ready to jump into this?
I'm ready.
Yes.
Okay.
If I said
I'm
I wasn't
excited.
ready, would we stop?
Yeah,
Well, I could give it like an extra 10 seconds and wait, or I could make
What
something up.
happens if we say no, Frank?
I could say Mary had a
No,
little
not
lamb
today.
again. You know what I mean? Because I did. Walking into this, Abraham, he really hurt my feelings just a little bit, if I'm going to be honest. I was so excited because I had my own variation of Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Right, okay.
And he totally shut me down.
Is it like a rock
Yeah,
version or like what?
He said, Frank, you already talked too much. I already got your sound check. And I went, wow.
Oh.
That was his exact words, was it not?
It was.
Yeah.
That was what he
said.
said.
You
I don't
talk too
recall
much
it
as it
that
is.
way.
That's what he said.
Man.
He was very abrupt with you.
Ooh.
No.
Well played. I like the
Yes,
word.
See, there we go.
That was a well-used...
Invest
is
in
that
a
an acronym?
thesaurus.
Is that an acronym?
Synonym.
Synonym. What's the difference between an acronym and a synonym?
Well, an acronym is the letters that stand for something, like NASA. NASA is
Okay,
an
I
acronym.
was thinking about
A
the
synonym
NIM.
is
Praise
something-
God, Lord God, help me. We're on the phone with a educational expert, and I can't even come up with a difference.
Very smart woman.
I am losing my daggum mind. What is going on right now? Okay, Frank, pull it together. Take a deep breath, and let's. Lord help me. Here we go. All right, so we are joined on the phone today by a lady who. Man, I dare to say I've known her for a long time. I haven't seen or talked to her in a long time. But it's funny, I get this link somebody sends me maybe a month ago. And they said, hey, do you see what Jackie's doing these days? And I said, Jackie who? And they said, Jackie Rodriguez. And I said, wow, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. No, what's she up to? And like, here she is on CNN. I'll go, wait, what? What's going on? So, yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Wow.
And yeah, then I realized... I always knew Jackie was a lot smarter than I was, and then I realized Jackie is a lot smarter than I am, which, again, most people are, but she's like a whole different level. So anyhow, we are joined on the phone today by Dr. Jacqueline Rodriguez. Howdy, how are you doing, ma'am?
I am so well, but I would not attest to being smarter than anybody. I think I'm a glutton for educational punishment.
Well, there you go.
That's a
Yep.
really good way to put it.
So you are a graduate of Titusville High School.
Yes.
You grew
a
up down
proud
here in
Terrier.
Titusville. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your journey from high school to where you're at now.
So Frank and I have known each other for, I would say, 30 years, which
Yeah.
says a lot.
Yeah.
And when we were in high school, I either wanted to be a foreign diplomat or, to your point, Bill, a NASA scientist or, something that took me to far off places and to explore. And so after high school, I decided to go to school out of state. I went to Washington, D.C. My family had taken very nerd herd vacations to D.C. and the mountains. It was all about museums. We were like that family that was like a new museum. Let's do this. And we had a blast. And so I ended up going to school in D.C. and majored in international affairs and international development.
That's
which
right.
I
You
really
went to George Washington, didn't you?
That's right. Yeah.
That's right.
GW.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was a cool experience, not necessarily just because of the academic environment, but because the school is in the city, and my dorm was, I don't know, 3 blocks from the White House. So when my dad would say, "Don't go running at night," I would always comment, "I can't be more safe. There was Secret Service everywhere,"
Yeah.
And it was the era of all of the World Bank and International Development Bank protests. So they were marching in front of the White House, the IDB, like it was happening in front of us. And so the experience was way more than the classes and the faculty. It was like, whoa, you have an internship on Capitol Hill? That doesn't make me any smarter or any more accomplished than anybody. It means I had access and opportunity. I was in the right place at the right time, in the right city, and I could walk to the Capitol to an internship as opposed to somebody who would have to pay to be there.
How
over the
awesome is
summer.
that?
It was awesome. It was so awesome. So it really helped shape how I saw the world and how I understood people. And I loved it so much that when I graduated, I decided to stay in the DC area, and I worked for a nonprofit for a while. And I thought I was going to do that until I either went back abroad. So I studied abroad like most kids in college. They take like a semester or a year abroad. And I studied in South America for a year. I had to go back and do that for a couple of years and be this like avant-garde rebel, right? Or maybe I'll join like the foreign diplomat and be a part of like the State Department, And I ended up in an educational nonprofit working with middle school students and teaching them about leadership and history. And I loved it so much that I was like, this teaching gig that my mom did that I said I'd never do, I really like this idea. And so I ended up in the field of education. It was like a complete 180-degree difference. But you do a lot of diplomacy in education, so maybe not so much of a difference.
Yeah.
Where did you end up in South America?
I studied in Chile.
Okay.
So yeah, I was in Santiago for a year, junior year. And, my sister also was a THS alum, and she was way smarter and way cooler than I did. She ended up doing Frau Blanner's Bundestag scholarship and did her junior year in high school, not college, in high school in Germany. I was like a 15-year-old kid.
What does that translate to?
Oh, man, that translates into somebody who got her undergrad degree and then left the country and lived in the Middle East for 10 years after that, doing all kinds of crazy. Yeah. You should really be talking to Stephanie right now, not me.
Well, we'll have her on, chat with her sometime too. Why not?
There you go.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to chatting with whoever. That's
Yeah,
the whole idea
EEARSS
behind
now.
this. We're trying to highlight people with awesome stories and good causes, and it sounds like you have them both going on.
So
I appreciate that.
I'm planning a fan club. Like I'm starting a fan club over here. This is amazing.
Oh. Yeah, my sister's at UCF now in the research department. So came back to the States with her family and is back in like the Titusville area too. So she's a really cool case study of like what it's like to grow up in a small community that has a ton of people you want to surround yourself with, people who are kind and compassionate, but also forward-leaning and ambitious and have tenacity.
Ain't that the truth? We do have an awesome community, without a doubt. Yeah, people, remember when we were kids, people were like, man, there's nothing to do in Titusville. It's so boring. I'm like, man, Titusville in the Space Coast area is a great area to grow up and to live. I mean, it really is.
I totally agree.
Didn't you guys live on South Lake?
We lived in Windover.
Okay, I got you.
Country.
I got you. Okay, yeah, indeed. That still is the country of Titusville. Yes, this is true.
Yes. Frank does a lot of gator removal out there.
Used to. Used to. Yep.
We have them in the backyard all the time still.
Do you? Yeah. It's a beautiful thing.
The bobcats.
So tell us a little bit about what your job is now and the organization or the group it is you're working with, and what it is you're doing.
So I have a unique kind of gig going on right now. So after school, I went into the teaching profession and I was a special education teacher in DC, and then came back to Florida when my dad got sick. And while he was undergoing treatment, I applied to a Ph.D. program at the University of Miami. At the time, I had a great special ed Ph.D. program, and so that was where I wanted to go. It was actually the only program I applied to, so I got really lucky. And I got accepted, which was great. My dad passed away in 2009, and a week before I was supposed to be on campus, I went, but I didn't do well. Like that first semester, I was a hot mess. And so my uncle, who was in the Bay of Pigs as a Cuban, I wouldn't call him a migrant, I would call him a refugee at that point. He sat me down one day and was like, I don't understand why you're suffering here in Miami. Why don't you just go home and go to UCF, right? It's not the school you wanted to go to originally, but he said to me, look at me. I was at Wharton at business school when the Bay of Pigs started, and I left. I was at the best school in the country, and I ended up at the University of Miami. I got my business degree, and he was very successful. And he said, the degree is what you make of it. It's not just about, where you are and the people you meet. It's like what you do with it afterward.
Preach.
So I know I listened to him, and I came back to Titusville, and I, this is so funny. I called some faculty at UCF, and like an idiot, I was like, so do you think I could transfer to UCF? And the woman on the phone was like, you're so kind. You don't transfer in a doctoral program, but you can reapply. I thought, yes, noted. So I reapplied. They accepted me, so that was kind of them. And after I did my PhD program, I went back abroad to do some studying in the Middle East, where Stephanie was, and finished my my culminating project, my dissertation. And I always thought I'd come back to the States and work at a university somewhere, teaching other people how to be special ed teachers. So I got a job at the university at College of William and Mary in Virginia. And it was fun because Virginia is sort of like a microcosm of Titusville in the sense of different environment, of course, but it's like a really cool community. People are kind and compassionate. They have a strong network. They have tons of running trails, like stuff to do, etc. It's all history based. So I was like, this is amazing. And I was there for 5 years, almost 6 years, as a professor in the School of Ed, when a friend of mine said, hey, this association that you're a part of, maybe you can consult with them. Maybe there's something you can do on the side that they'd be willing to, work with you on. And I was like, yeah, I'm willing to get more involved. So I called the president of the association, and we talked for a little bit. And at the end of the conversation, I was like, so if there's anything I can do to support you, let me know. I'm at your behest. And she said, it's funny. I wasn't thinking about you consulting. I was actually thinking about bringing you on as the assistant vice president. And you should have seen my face. It was like pre-COVID, so it was like Zoom calls were not normal. And I remember thinking to myself, like, oh, you can't look like that right now. Like, that's not appropriate. And I must have guffawed, like, excuse me, and I really could not believe it. And so we had several conversations, and she brought me on board. So I work at the American Association of Colleges for Teacher Education. And what that is like the AMA for medical professionals or the ADA for dentistry. It's your professional home. So we are the professional home for all schools and colleges of education across the country. Wow. So our members are like deans of schools of ed and like faculty. And so what I do now, my role changed. I'm the vice president of research, policy, and advocacy. And we do all of the original research. We do all of the, Capitol Hill, state legislature, policy and advocacy work. We do a ton of, like you were saying, like media requests on, what's going on. But the biggest thing we're doing right now is addressing the teacher shortage. And how do we prepare certified teachers to be in classrooms instead of having people who breathe be in classrooms, because we're dealing with people's lives, like students' lives. So
you're talking about it. How do we deal with that?
Oh man, my biggest concern and my strongest push is to have this huge national, Rosie the Riveter kind of PSA, where we talk about how teaching is the social justice endeavor of our generation. To be a teacher is to be a civil rights mover and shaker. That's how you support and encourage the next generation. Like, it's our national security, it's our economic stability. Being an educator is the only way that, not only as a country, but like a human populace, we will see the next 100 years. So I want more people to walk into schools and colleges and universities and become professionally prepared. And I want them to be like me. I entered the profession alternatively because I didn't know any better. And I had a master's degree in teaching while I was teaching kids. I had no business being in front of students at that time, right? Like, I was a good person. That does not make me a good teacher. So I want people to get their college degrees for free. I think every educator should have a free education. And when they walk into the classroom on day one, they have mentorship and support from the people in their schools, but also from their universities. That's consistent. And that everybody gets nationally board certified, so that when you're in the classroom for several years, you provide a portfolio demonstrating that you have mastered not only these competencies, but how to teach, and you know how students learn. And then you become a mentor master teacher in the end through certification.
So what are the first steps in making that happen?
We walk into elementary schools and we start telling kids who are really good at explaining thinking, the kids who are talkers, the kids who care about what they're learning, the kids who can apply what they're learning to their life, right? We tell all of them, you know, education is about helping other people better understand these connections and to help them discreetly understand them. And I think for the longest time, educators in elementary and middle school in particular looked at women who were white and said, oh my gosh, you're such a good sharer. Jennifer, you should be a teacher. But they didn't look at kids who are Black and brown, and they definitely didn't look at boys and say, hey, Jamel, hey, John, you be an amazing educator. That's just not a part of the repertoire. Part of that is because we have a ton of white female teachers and they're seeing themselves in those kids. Part of that is just because there's just institutional bias there. So we need to start telling people early that education is an option for them. And then we get people interested. But you don't keep people by their like innate intrinsic interest. You keep them by paying them to be there. And so if you tell somebody, well, if you tell a teacher now, somebody's going into the profession, here's your student loan debt and here's your $30,000 paycheck. I don't think that we're going to keep very many people in the profession. But if we tell them, hey, you can either go into the private sector and earn 60 to 80K, or you can go into the public sector and earn 60 to 80K, and you can really change the lives of countless kids, I think people would choose to be in the public sector. We need to start paying teachers what their value is. We just haven't done that.
Completely agree with you. I know we just had a vote down here on increasing the millage, which it did increase. I don't know, Bill, you would know more about this than maybe we would. What kind of a difference does that make on the for the average teacher? Is it enough to even see a difference at all?
Yeah, no, it's a sliding scale, and it's based on seniority. And you know, since I've been around for a long time, I've really only paid attention to what the top of the scale is going to get.
Right.
And so, yeah, no, it's about. I mean, it's for 4 years, and I stand to make about $7,000 more a year because of it.
Which. So yeah, I hope is that across the board, or you said it's just that's on seniority?
Well, it's on if you have 19 years plus, then you're at the top of the scale, and that's what it's $6,700, something like that.
That's something. It's something.
Yeah.
That's
that would make a difference.
Man, you have that's an interesting dilemma there that you're dealing with, and I think you're definitely approaching it from the right directions. That's a lot of moving pieces and parts to try to attack and make all come together. And man, you got a fan over here that's rooting for you.
Yeah, it's a systems issue. At the core of it, we have a lot of states who operate independently, and they all have their own local needs. And so in some states, you don't have a shortage of math teachers, but you do have a shortage of special educators, or a shortage of ESL or foreign language teachers. And as we're noting, all students deserve their own independent, well, let me put it this way. We used to talk about in special ed that every kid needed differentiation. But what we've learned in the field is that every kid deserves to have the content differentiated. So when we think about how to teach kids, it's not this one person in front of 35 or 40 kids with, a PowerPoint or a lectern or a form, and everybody's doing worksheets or we're reading out of books. that's like a century ago. We have tons of teachers who are innovating and doing awesome work, but they don't have the support that they need to continue doing it, or they don't have the funding to continue doing it. So from the systems perspective, when we think about the national budget, when we think about federal budget, education, if you can believe this, is less than 2% of our entire federal budget. Less than 2% is what we put into public school systems across the country.
Now, over the years,
From the
has that been changing, going up, down? What
No.
has that just been stayed the same all along?
No, I mean, when you think about it, will go up and down depending on administration and depending on the politics, but not substantively that you actually see a difference. So during COVID, we saw a difference because we had the administration pouring money into schools to support learning loss and supporting teachers and the remote work environment. So there were substantive changes made, but that's not something that's sustainable. Those are one-time grants, or in this case, 2 to 3 year allotments. What we need is for education to not be discretionary funding, number one.
I mean, I would say just common sense thinking about it, with our country's population going up, that percentage would have to go up to make up for the population going up, wouldn't it? I mean, it just seems common sense.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm overthinking it. I mean,
No, I don't think you are. I mean, so federal budget, 2%. State budget, your state budget is almost wholly decided upon by state and local taxes, SALT. And if your state and local taxes are low in specific states, then you're going to see a very small budget for school systems. And that's why you see discrepancies between different school districts. Some school districts have very affluent communities where their state and local taxes are very high or higher than others. And then in lower income communities, lower tax rate, so schools are funded less. It's totally inequitable when you think about it. And it's a systems issue.
So this is something that needs to change at the federal level first, or are you guys trying to approach it?
We do both.
You're trying to approach it at all the levels?
Exactly.
Which I guess would be,
We're
what, 3 or 4 levels, I guess, right? Pretty much. If you're looking at federal, state, county, city, or however that would go, depending on where you're at, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. From all avenues, and we need advocates from all communities. So we can't just have people coming to Capitol Hill talking to their senators. We need people in Florida, for example, walking into their legislators' district offices and saying, hey, we really think that this is important and this is what we'd like you to vote on. So staying abreast of those issues is also just as important at the local level as it is at the national.
If people want to learn more about the organization you're with, where can they go to find out about it?
Oh, they go to AACTE.org.
Okay. Yeah, we got your logo up on the screen, so that we got the AACTE up there.
Cool.
It's an awesome cause, man. It's pretty neat to hear about all this. So I gave you a little bit of homework. Did you get that homework?
I did. You
Okay.
asked me for 5 trivia questions.
I did.
Yes.
Ooh.
And she says she's going to do it on trail running. So
No.
I'm going to be really good at this.
Oh.
This is awesome.
I don't have high hopes for getting any of these
If
right.
there's animals along the trail she's running on, I got this.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
I can talk about trail snacks. I'm very good at that. Let's hope there's some questions about that.
All right, Jackie, hit us.
Okay, so what is the shortest ultra marathon distance in miles?
Ultra marathon. Okay, so ultra makes me believe it's more, and I think I've heard about some of these marathons. I
Yes,
think
I'm sure you
there's
have.
60 miles. I think a short one's
What?
like 60 miles.
Is that on one tank of gas? Or?
No, I heard there was a guy other day that I was listening to somewhere that was talking about going on this trail run it took him like 3 weeks. He ran for 3 weeks or something. Like, man, that's a different breed of human being. I'm like, I ain't
Wow.
built for that. The good Lord did not make me for that.
Whoa.
But I don't know. I'm guessing 60. What do you guys think? It says ultra, the shortest ultra marathon. So ultra, it has got to be a lot more than a marathon. So I'm guessing 60.
I don't even know that I know how many miles a regular marathon is.
26.2.
Okay.
Yeah. I got you. I got you
All right,
covered
so
on that one.
ultra.
Everybody has a lot of stickers in the back of their little cars. It'll say
That's
26.2
right,
or
they do.
13.1 if they do a half a marathon.
They do.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
For a long time, I wondered what that meant. Like when I was in high school, I'd look at that and go, "What, did they run something? And did they have a car that goes?
I thought it
runs
had
a quarter
to do
mile
with
or something?"
donuts. I mean, something with donuts.
You guys are a mess. So you got a guess?
72.
72 is a good guess. Yeah.
Wow.
No, it's not.
What,
I have 3.
3?
I'm going the other way.
Ultra marathon the other direction. It's like one of those Michelob Ultra beers, low
Yeah,
calories. Yeah.
3.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Tell us, what are we looking at?
Okay. So I'm gonna let you know right now that these questions are based on my own professional opinion of being a novice trail runner. But my thought is it's 26.3 because an ultra marathon is anything more than a marathon.
Oh,
So
okay. I overthink
did,
it.
yeah.
I
A
overthink
little
it.
bit.
I give you a riddle. But truthfully, like most ultras are 50 Ks, 50 milers. Sometimes they're 100 Ks, 100 milers, and I'll spoiler alert, there'll be more on the.
There's some
longer
insane ones, yeah.
Yeah, there's some insane ones. All right. This again, professional opinion, so completely subjective here. Who is the best female trail runner ever?
I'm gonna go with Jackie Rodriguez.
Yeah, I was
There we
fixing
go.
to say the
Yeah,
same thing.
That's what I'm thinking.
He said it's your professional opinion, so I'm pretty much rolling the same way with it.
Definitely.
We're gonna
Oh
give
my
you that
God.
title right now.
No, so I have run several ultras, but I am nowhere near even that level of
Did you
professional.
say
I am
several ultras?
yeah, but this is like as a novice. This is somebody who just like likes to be in the woods today.
It's
that's how
a
I
as a
feel.
novice you've ran several. Okay, I'm just making sure I understood that
Okay.
correctly in my
Yeah,
own brain.
I think, yeah.
Okay.
So I would say, again, subjective opinion, that Ann Trayson is the best female trail runner of all time.
Ann Trayson.
I'm gonna have to Google
Ann
her.
Trayson, yeah.
Yeah.
She has won. Okay,
You have
so
the pen.
here's my next question is more or less, what's the most famous of the ultra marathons that are trail based, so a trail based ultra? And spoiler alert, Ann has won this, I think, 6 times. I can't recall how many, but pretty a lot of times.
What's the
The
trail,
most famous.
Bill? What's
It's in California.
Oh, it's in. Never mind. Never mind. Bill, I was gonna ask you what the trail was. Oh my garage! What is the trail that runs from the northeast all the way down here?
Talking about the Appalachian
Trail.
Appalachian,
I
yeah.
was thinking about that one, and as soon as I lost that, as soon as you
Well,
said out west,
She's talking
I
out
was lost.
west, maybe the Pacific Rim. There's the Pacific Rim Trail, I think.
Is there?
Pacific Coast.
Yeah, that's it.
What's the
Pacific
one that
Coast
goes up
Trail.
the hill that
There's
people
one
race
that
up?
goes from Mexico, that goes all the way up to Canada. Through. Because I see
Is there a Pikes Peak
online
Trail?
people
Is there a
doing
Pikes
this
Peak
all
Trail?
this time. Yeah, there is a Pikes Peak Trail.
Yeah, I know that people race up the Pikes Peak Trail.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
maybe it's a Pikes Peak Trail. I don't know. I'm guessing Pikes Peak.
So
What do you
this
think,
one
Cindy?
is called, go ahead.
Go ahead. What is it?
Yeah, tell us.
It's Western States, and
Okay.
it's called Western States Trail. But this is cool. When you win Western States, you don't get a trophy; you get a cougar, not a real one.
Oh.
Okay.
You get a
But
cougar.
it's a cougar
What?
trophy. Yeah.
Cougar
okay.
trophy.
Okay. I was like,
Okay.
my mind up. Lord forgive me.
You were like,
Yeah.
you get to take one of those home.
Yeah, I'm like, what
okay.
just happened?
Like,
Yeah.
that's the most tightest little thing I've ever heard.
You get a bobcat. Congratulations.
There you go.
Oh my garage.
So one of the other things you get for ultra marathons, typically in 100 milers, is a belt buckle.
I would
it's
get a
a
lot
belt
more than a
buckle
belt buckle.
A hospital stay.
Yeah, that's what I'm fixing to say. Yeah, coronary probably the first thing
an
along the
IV maybe.
line. Life flight. Yes, life flight.
Yeah, sure. Belt buckle. That's what I was thinking.
Did you really get a belt buckle?
Yeah, if you run a 100 miler, in some of the shorter distances they'll do it too, but hundreds are renowned for giving belt buckles, especially if you do it in time. So some hundreds you have to do it in like 40 hours or less to qualify. Some are 30 hours or less, and then they have different kinds of belt buckles, like a silver or a gold or whatnot, if you do it in like a 24-hour or under 20. So it just depends on the race, what they provide you.
So what's your best time?
Oh God, I've never done 100. My favorite race distance is a 50K, and that distance is perfect for me. It's just past a marathon. It's like 32 miles, and you do it in the woods. It takes like 4 hours. You're done.
I'm sorry. That would take me far longer than 4 hours.
So wait a minute. Now,
Well,
I
my
could walk it in a
rudimentary
couple of
math,
days.
you're doing 12 kilometers per hour, 12 and a half kilometers per hour.
I think really fast ones, they can do it much less than that. But if you're doing like 9-minute miles, you can probably get a 50K, 4.5, 5 hours.
Wow.
My heart already hurt before we started this, and now it definitely does.
I think
That's
you would
amazing.
like it.
That
You
is
would like it.
amazing.
No, yeah, I enjoy walking around the woods, but I don't know if I don't think I don't know. I'm not opposed to trying a mile or two. Yeah, I don't know that.
I do trail walking.
Yeah, I mean, I do trail walking every day.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. I was just something that, because I have like weak ankles anyway. I mean, ankle injuries, wouldn't you like?
Oh, they'd be huge, I'd bet.
Isn't that a problem?
You're going to laugh so hard. So I used to trail run far more often pre-COVID. And then I joked that in COVID, my hobby was breaking my bones. So
no.
I went on a trail run during COVID and did break my right ankle. And so that took a little while to heal. And then after that, I went skiing and blew out my left knee.
Oh,
so
God.
I know. Just freak situations. But it's funny, trail runners actually are known for their agility and their flexibility, because so often you're running and jumping and turning and twisting, and so it takes lots of stretching, etc., but tons of strength training. They're huge into weightlifting and strength training, because your quads and your hamstrings and your butt really are carrying you up and down the trails, and your calves get huge from it too. And your body really it adjusts quickly to trail running as opposed to flat running. What I think you'll find if you do it is that it's more comfortable to run on the trail than it is to run on the pavement or on the street. And there are far fewer injuries because of it. So on the pavement, hip injuries, plantar fasciitis in the foot, knee sprains, and tendonitis, they're prevalent for long distance runners. But on the trail, you don't get that because it's so forgiving and you're constantly moving your body up and down. So I think personally, it's like the best of both worlds. You're running, your body's moving, it's exhilarating, you're seeing the mountains, and you're treating your body well because you have this flexible earth underneath you.
You are something else. Wow,
Well,
I've learned more today than I could have ever imagined.
I think we need to erect a new statue in Titusville.
Yes,
and,
indeed.
oh my
like,
God, no, oh my gosh.
The Dr. Jacqueline Rodriguez statue.
Yes.
Yes, just go ahead and
Yes.
put a plaque on it and just
do
be
you
done
prefer
with
marble or granite?
it.
Oh my gosh, you guys are so silly.
Oh
No,
Lord.
we should go. We'll go trail running when I come home and visit, and I think you'll be like, "This is amazing."
No, I think you'll be like, dang, Frank, I thought you had better cardio. Your cardio, Frank, it leaves a lot to be desired. Oh Lord.
We always get better, right?
Yeah,
We
this is
always
true.
get
That's all you can do is get
That's
better.
true.
That's all you can do. All you
Can't
can do
get
is
much
go
worse.
up. You go up, or you fall apart and fall down. So it's gonna it's one or the other. Cindy can tell you I'm very good at jumping up there like a fish. I was fish jumping before the program started, so that was my stretching. But
Oh, wow.
anyhow, Jackie, thank you so much for joining us today and chatting with us. Again, if people want to learn more about your organization, it's what's the website?
AACTE.org.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining us and sharing your story and what
it's
you're up to
awesome.
these days. And we hope to chat with you again here sometime.
I'd love that. Good luck to everybody.
Thank
Talk
you a
soon.
bunch. Yep. Talk to you soon. All right,
Okay,
guys.
bye.
This was an excellent episode with, man, that was, I'm literally, I think I'm sore and worn out just from the conversation. That's amazing. She's amazing.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
amazing.
No, that's incredible.
Yeah, she's
Incredible.
amazing. Wow. I mean, people have stories, you know what I mean, of things they experiences they've had and things they've done since school. I mean, I thought I had a couple of good ones, but that
Mhm.
kind of puts about anybody to shame.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Lot-
been all over the world, done, has a doctorate degree, been everywhere and done everything. Run 60 kilometers like it's gone out of style. Yeah, I mean, I thought I was tough for a minute. I really did. I
Did
came
you?
into this thinking I was tough.
You were wrong.
You were wrong.
The,
You were
the
wrong.
beard hides it sometimes.
There
But
you
yeah, it
go.
is what it is. But anyhow, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We will see y'all next week. Bye-bye.